better known for his role on the wildly popular Breakfast Club show, and he's known as Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Peace. How are y'all?
We're doing well. We're doing well. So,
I look big on that screen.
Lean back. There you go.
There we go. So Charlamagne, you just put out a new book, and I read it in a day.
So we're not even going to do that. Okay, so they're going to talk to Charlamagne about his about the behavior of the View trying to come for him because he wouldn't kowtow like how black people are supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Vote Democrat, vote Democrat. I don't care about Charlamagne's book. I really could care less. We're just going to move right on.
He's uncomfortable due to differences in political views, or maybe they're discussing something controversial. But the idea is to embrace discourse, and I love the message that you have in that book. And so with that said, I want to embrace some discourse right now by starting off with a question about something that stood out to me on The View when you made an appearance on the show. So I want to go to this video. It's an exchange between you and Sunny Hostin, and then I'll ask my question. Take a look.
You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020, but this time.
If you guys like the clips, videos I've been making, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and the notification bell. I'm very grateful to anybody who watches. I really enjoy making these videos. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
Around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals. Like, you know, when
why not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you know, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, you know, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, you know, try to lead an attempted coup of this country. And I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? Mm-hmm. There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right?
So you're clearly unhappy with the Biden administration, considering the fact that you're kind of making this distinction between, you know, doing an endorsement as you did in 2020 versus what you're planning on doing this time around. You're not endorsing Biden, but clearly you're going to vote for Biden.
Clearly, Charlamagne is ridiculous. And I still can't stand people like this. You guys look at Project 25. It just talks about like conservative values. Like the fact that they even call it Project 25 is like just a fearmonger. They give things a name so everybody gets worked up. And why this Project 25 is coming? Oh my God, Donald Trump is going to come. Like, this is what they did to black people too. Like, let's just have fun with it. It was like when Donald Trump was about to be elected, or they were talking about Donald Trump is going to bring the slave ships back and he's going to take all the black people to Africa. And I would hear this, and it was just like, I didn't say that I necessarily agreed that would happen, but I should have been like, that sounds ridiculous. Like, what does that even mean? So now it's like Project 25, like what? And so Charlamagne is still a punk to me because first of all, the fact that Sunny can sit there and tell you, you need to endorse, you need to hurry up and endorse, stay in your lane, woman. He doesn't want to endorse, but he's saying, I'm still doing it in the backhanded thing. Trust me, I'm still voting for Joe Biden. Why exactly are you doing that? What has been that much better? I'm going to say right now out loud, if Trump's messaging is really starting to throw me off, it really is. But if I decided that I wasn't voting for Donald Trump somehow, I just wouldn't vote. I would never vote for Joe Biden. Huh? And so, because that doesn't make sense for America. We are facing 3 different wars, okay? We are like energy dependent. The borders were wide open, and now they're starting to try to get control of it just because of an election season. We've been subverted in all kinds of ways that I've forgotten. So no, I would never vote for Joe Biden. I don't understand like why he can't just simply say that I don't like what he's done, because obviously you don't want to endorse him because you don't like something about him.
Do you feel that constantly voting for the lesser of 2 evils, election after election, is going to get Democratic voters to where they want to be in this country with a party that actually represents their best interests, as opposed to the best interests of, you know, lobbyists, corporations, a foreign government like Israel, which the Biden administration very clearly seems to prioritize over the best interests of his own constituents? I'm curious if you think your tactic here is going to yield positive results.
Well, I want to say in 2020, I didn't endorse President Biden either. In 2020, I was on record saying that I am, voting for this administration because of, his vice presidential pick,
Which was still very feminine of him. Chucks and pearls. I'm sorry, what has Kamala Harris done? Who's that?
Kamala Harris. Like I said that in 2000.
Kamala. Don't let her change her name.
20. So I don't even know where the rhetoric came from that, I'm endorsing, President Biden. And, you use some language just now that I think is so interesting. And when you see statistics like, 1 in 4 Americans have unfavorable views of, both Trump and Biden, or when you hear my man Tim Ryan, talk about the exhausted majority, how people are just tired of politics. At some point, people got to get tired of choosing between the lesser of two evils, right? Like, I wonder when we even say that, do we even understand what we're saying? Like, if you walked in a room and somebody put two evils on the table, I want you to think of the most evilest things you can possibly think of. And they put them on the table and said, hey, you have to choose between one of these two things. Wouldn't that be a very difficult choice for anybody? Would that be something that you would want to tell people? Oh man, well, I since I got to choose the lesser one, I guess I will endorse this one. It's like we use this language that's kind of like
But you're still going to vote for him. I'm sorry, I had to cut him off right there. Let me help you guys understand the lesser of two evil conversation and why I think it's a cop out. I do. What do you want? Right? We have a society. Your people come from the society that you built. And don't get me wrong, I do believe there's a lot of selection, right? But Americans aren't even ready to wake up to the fact of how our elected officials are selected, okay? They're not ready to wake up to it because they're afraid of the truth, right? That's number one. Number two, are we building a society that is going to make anything better than the lesser of two evils? We better take some responsibility for that. Okay. And that's not an excuse for Trump or Biden. I mean, personally, I don't think that Trump is necessarily the lesser of two evils when it comes to Biden. I just think that he's turned all of a sudden morphed in the last month into the regular run-of-the-mill politician who's saying things like we need to staple green cards to diplomas. I just thought that was just like a little excited to say that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't listen to everything he says. Sometimes he says things because he just needs to say it and then he just does whatever. So I understand that take on Trump too. Don't get me wrong. And back in 2016 to 2020, well, 2017 to 2021, you'll say this, Trump did a lot for this country, especially towards that last year of the last term. He did take us out of the WHO. I can at least say that real quick. And that was huge. Okay. Huge. Took us out of the Paris Accords. Huge. So I don't forget everything that Trump did. I don't. I'm a little concerned with the thickness of the deep state and how it's grown that, so now it becomes that anybody can come in and is anything going to change, right? That's not really a dig on Trump necessarily for me, but coming back to it, we cannot be mad at this whole lesser of two evils when we're producing this kind of society. Who's going to run for president after this time? Who do we even look at to say like this person might be good? I mean, I guess Vivek Ramaswamy. Like who's next, right? Like, so this is the best society has to give. I mean, and I'm not also, and that to me, Biden is a career politician. Biden is not even a real person to me. I've said this before. There's no way as a nurse I can look at that kind of cognitive impairment. For me to take that kind of person seriously is a disrespect to my license as a nurse. But his administration, I mean, his name is career politician. And I think Trump came in doing the best that he could. So I don't look at him as the lesser of two evils. I don't think Trump is evil. I think that he's kowtowing in ways that I didn't expect. So I don't think he's evil. But then what? After this, then what? The Democrats don't have anybody to put up. The Republicans certainly, I don't know. So then what? Thomas Massie, I guess. I don't know if he even wants to run for president.
Just it's discouraging.
It's coercive.
Like literally,
That's what it is.
It's very discouraging, to the American people. And that's why I say I would rather talk about issues than individuals, especially in an election like this. When in an election like this, where neither one of the candidates are people that
folks really truly enjoy, well, I'm not gonna say that because they definitely have their bases, but people like me can't really get into. I would rather just talk about the issues as opposed to talking about the individuals.
Yeah, I just want to respond to that because, for every election cycle, I've caved into that framing, lesser of two evils, lesser of two evils. At this point, it's the only rallying cry that the Democratic Party has. Vote for us because the other guy is worse. It's been election cycle after election cycle, the same nonsense. And this time around, I'm not going for it. I'm not gonna fall for it because the one saving grace for the Democratic Party previously was this idea that they're the decent ones. They're the ones who care about people of color. They're the ones who care about brown Americans. And then you see the slaughter of innocent Palestinian civilians with the Biden administration greenlighting it. And I just don't think they have a leg to stand on that issue. So
I'm gonna help.
That's where I stand on it. But I totally hear what you're.
I'm trying to get her without her eyes closed. I hate doing that to people. That's what's up, Anna. But I could have told you before Joe Biden was elected that they never cared about Black people. The Democrats do not care about Black people. Democrats in their fake civil rights movement have done nothing but subvert the strength of Black people. They've welfared Black people to God knows where. They've progressively told people that they can't arrest criminals because they're Black, and that's racist, which I think is the most racist comment that you can make. Democrats are the worst. Believe me, I just would rather so that's why I say if I don't vote for Trump, I'm not voting. I will never, ever vote Democrat again. Be clear. I like to talk to people. I know that, and I like that this channel reaches people across the board. And I think that's great. I'm talking about people, right? But people need to understand that the Democratic Party is nothing but communism. So, and the Republican Party is a different kind of fascism. And I can't believe that I'm saying this, right? But once I saw the hate speech laws coming, I said, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on, right? So, and it's the Republicans doing that. The party themselves, they don't answer to their base. They don't. And it's a shame because there's a lot of people who don't realize this yet. But Democrats are sitting here telling your kids that they could be boys and girls at the same time. I would never vote Democrat again. I'd rather just never vote, period. And so that's the point, right? And so these are the things, though, that these people, they still can't say because Anna still wants to call herself being on the left. The problem is, I think personally that she made so many issues with Jimmy Dore, who's basically I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, however I want to talk about, and it is what it is. Anna can't do that anymore because she still has to be on the left. I do not answer to any single right-left label. I answer to God first, and I'm an American. So I want to answer to what makes things better for Americans, and working on America actually helps the rest of the world. But all of this other stuff, I'm not with it. Please, I could have debunked that for her a long time ago if she was worried about how they feel about brown people. It should never be it. And this is why voting becomes a joke when it's okay, well, we're going to vote for this party because of how they deal with this class of people. No, how do they deal with Americans as a whole? And Democrats have been the front lines of the communistic laws or communistic thinking that says we have too many white people doing X, Y, Z. I'm not here for this kind of fake division and all of this theater. I'm not.